19th, 1979. 44-year-old Etta Kane heads out to hike the trails of Mount Tamalpais State Park near San Francisco. A married executive with an active lifestyle, she plans to hike alone, in what is nothing more than a routine workout for her. However, after setting off, Etta does not return home. Growing concerned, her husband immediately contacts the police, who dispatch a search team that night, fearing she may have had an accident and gotten stranded out in the remote wilderness. They locate her car left in a parking lot, yet even with the help of tracker dogs, they're unable to find any sign of her. At least, not that night. And when they are able to find her the next day, it's unfortunately too late. Etta is already dead. But what is immediately clear is that her death was not the result of an accident. Etta's body is found kneeling with her face on the ground and a gunshot wound in the back of her head. It seems clear that someone had forced her into a submissive position on her knees before coldly executing her. Examining her belongings, it's determined that a small amount of money and her credit cards have been taken from her purse, as well as her glasses. Yet if robbery was the motive behind her murder, why had her killer left all of her much more valuable jewelry untouched? Her autopsy reveals that she had also not been sexually assaulted, ruling that out as a motive for her attack too. According to the autopsy, a .44 caliber gun had been used to shoot her. Yet other than that, there are next to no clues as to who was responsible or why they had done it. With nothing to point them in the direction of her killer, it wasn't long before her case went cold. But what the investigators didn't know at the time was that Etta's murder was going to be the first in a string of killings committed by a disturbed serial killer. And almost exactly 2 months later, he would strike again. By the fall of 1980, police would issue a warning in the Bay Area, saying what they called a ritualistic serial killer with a severe psychological problem was on the loose, targeting victims on the local nature trails. This killer would soon come to be known as On the evening of October 21st, almost exactly 2 months later, a group of hikers just north of Painted Rock at Land's End came across a set of bloody keys on a hiking trail, which led them to discover the body of 23-year-old Mary Frances Bennett buried beneath a thin layer of dirt and branches. Mary had been stabbed 25 times in the neck, chest, and back, with the crime scene being so disturbing that one of the arriving officers described her as having been butchered. An intern at an accounting firm who had only recently moved to the area, Mary had set out jogging that morning before encountering whoever had brutally murdered her on the trail. But with few similarities to the case of Etta, the two crimes were not connected, and with no suspects, no evidence, and no leads, both cases were left to turn cold. But then, months later on March 8, 1980, another victim, Barbara Schwartz, was discovered along the same Mount Tamalpais trail where Etta had been shot in the back of the head. However, Barbara had not been shot. She had been stabbed multiple times in the chest in a similar manner to Mary. And this time, there was a witness to what had happened. That day, a female jogger noticed a man approach Barbara as she was out with her dog, her attention being drawn to the scene by the sound of the dog's barking. Although she was watching from far away and through the trees, she described the man to have dark hair and a hawk-like nose, to be young and athletic, and to likely be in his mid-20s. Then, suddenly, the man began stabbing Barbara